By some strange quirk, I actually have the original footage. The actual raw footage is a little over 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I turn on the camera, I press record, then I walk away from the camera and I get into position. And at this point, I'm still not exactly sure what I'm going to do or how I'm going to put this together, because the way that I've planned out each and every action doesn't quite make sense. And it's something I haven't done before, and it's a little bit tricky because it's not just one instance of me killing a clone of mine. I actually appear in several different places. I pretend like I dodge a grenade. Well, it's a pen in this case, but it's really a grenade. And then I'm thinking about what to do next, how I'm going to put it together. So I kind of act this out a few times. And I know that as soon as I run right here, I'm going to cross the line where I cut the footage in half so that there can be two of me on screen at the same time. So as we could see from the video, I dodge the grenade that's thrown at me by this guy, and then I try to chase after him because he runs away, right? And then there's this really quick cut. I'm right here on this side of the line down the center of the screen, and all of a sudden I quickly appear on this side as another one of me is coming out of the entrance to the basement. This is because the line here is where I cut out half of the footage to paste over it so that I have a foreground and a background. And I'll explain that when we get to that. But there's kind of two territories, the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen. I chase after the first guy and throw a pen after him, but I know that somebody else has meantime popped out of somewhere and got me. So then I'll think about where that came from. Oh, but don't forget, I dodge someone that's throwing a pen at me from the right side of the screen. So I have to remember to act out, whoops, somebody throwing something at me from the right side of the screen. I do that here, and then afterwards I run around and I pick up everything that I've thrown, and then I come out of the basement. And then I get the very first guy who crossed that line. And then as I'm thinking about my victory, he gets blown up from somewhere. But since I'm standing in the left side of the screen, I know that someone on the right side of the screen has to get me. And I've used the space of the green wall already. So I'm thinking the next space has to be the rooftop. So that means I pick up all the pens that I've thrown, and then I climb up on top of the roof, I sneak over, and I start tossing pens onto the opposite side of the screen. And then someone will get me from the left side. So I can just come down and try and act that out, which the only place left really is the wooden door there. This guy here is the one that gets the guy on the roof. You'll notice that there's another effect here where I speed up the footage. Right as the first guy crosses the line, the guy who comes out of the basement gets the first guy. This guy up on top of the roof here, I'm moving along that roof so slowly, but I have to show myself enter the frame. I just can't appear there onto the roof. I have to crawl there from out of the frame into the frame, as what you see me doing here. But the problem is, since it's the roof, I can't move as fast as I'd like, and I'm only standing here thinking about my triumph in the left side of the screen for only a few seconds. That means that by the time the guy on the roof starts throwing pens at the guy on the left side of the screen, his footage is going to run out, and I'm going to, in the meantime, probably, see, here I am, I'm probably going to be on this side of the screen by the time this guy's throwing his pens. So I speed up the footage so that I move across the roof faster. That's why he looks a little choppy. See that? And as soon as he explodes, the footage speed returns to normal. As you see him throwing his first pens, his arm kind of moves crazy like that. Whoo, whoo. And then he's back to normal speed. He looks around, and I climb down off of the roof to go out and appear in that wooden door. The walls and the lighting looks different. It's all more kind of green here and saturated, whereas over here it's more pale because the sun is in a different place. I realized that I had to go back and film the wink part a little later on in the day. So that's why there's this change from this lighting to this lighting. Now, lighting is very important in this effect because you have to do it all during the same part of the day. Because if you were to, like, say, combined this footage with this footage, then you're going to end up with footage that looks differently because it's lit differently. Then your clone effect won't look proper. It won't look like it's all one place at the same time. It's important to not move the camera. The camera is all in one place. I'm not getting different angles. I'm not moving it around. It's all on one take in one place. If you move the camera, then you'd have to start all over again. Because then, when you chop the footage and have to do the clone effect, that side of the footage, the left side, isn't going to match up with the right side. So, this is Adobe After Effects. Split the layer. Okay, so if we can see right down here at the bottom of the screen, we now have 2 video timelines. And we can't see anything on the bottom because the top is covering it up, this piece of footage. However, if we were to, say, take the rectangle tool and draw a mask right at this line, we can see that anything inside the mask shows up in the foreground, so that anything outside of the mask disappears. And that will show as transparent. This is essentially what the mask is doing. See, I'm cutting out half of the footage and I'm keeping this half. So that way, this half shows up underneath it. So this is the foreground and this is the background. All that there ever is in this video is 2 pieces of footage showing up at the same time. And that line where I draw the mask is in the set right down the center. That way it creates 2 layers.